an audio-only recording of an exercise session for Vision of Adventure. This recording is supported by Disability Rights UK, a yoga session led by Carol Downing.
You'd like to come down with your feet flat on the mat and your knees up towards the ceiling. Come down onto your bottom. Lovely, that's it. So we've got our our upper body nice and flat on the mat. So you've got your legs. Your legs are about parallel distance apart. Your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Your feet are whatever distance away from your bottom feels comfortable for you. We're going to have a little bit of a wriggle and we're going to we're going to let that lower back just sink down into the floor and see if we can make some good contact with the floor. We're going to take that wriggle up our back and into our shoulders. We're going to keep our shoulders nice and soft and have them sinking down into the floor. And then we're going to tuck our chin in towards our chest. So we've got a nice little stretch in the back of the neck. And then you can either keep your hands on the mat beside you, or you can take your hands and you can put them on the belly. And we're going to do our breath work to start our practice this evening. So we're going to inhale through the nose, nice and steady. And we're going to take a really lovely long breath all the way down to the belly. So you can maybe count this breath as you breathe in, take the breath all the way down to the belly. And as the belly fills with breath, you can feel the belly rising up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take a pause at the top of that inhale. And maybe give yourself another little count of 1 or 2. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to let that belly sink down towards the spine, towards the floor, keeping it nice and steady and nice and flowing. So you feel the breath leave your body. And then we're going to continue with this breath in your own time, really seeing if we can keep it nice and flowing and nice and steady. Filling the belly with breath, feeling it rise up towards the ceiling, taking that pause, adding that additional count. And then as you exhale, we're going to see if we can make the count a little bit longer and just extend that exhale so it's longer than the inhale as the belly gently falls down to the spine and down towards the floor. So let's just do a few more of these breaths in your own time and with your own count. And maybe we're just going to take your attention to your jaw, see that you've not started to clench your jaw as you think about your breath, just try and let it flow. And maybe we're going to take our attention to our shoulders, see that the shoulders are still nice and soft in the mat. I'm just going to let any thoughts that might try and enter our head just float away as we focus on the breath. And we complete this last round of our belly breath. And when you've completed the last round of your belly breath, we're going to let your breath come back to its normal pattern. And then if you've got your hands on the belly, we're going to take them down to the side, palms flat on the floor. And we're going to walk our heels in towards our bottom, keeping our legs parallel. We're going to stretch our fingers down towards our heels and see if we can maybe touch the back of the heels with the fingers. So we still want that lower back nice and soft in the mat. And we still want the chin tucked into the chest. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to press down through our legs and through our feet. And as we do so, we're going to lift our bottom off the mat. And then very slowly, we're going to see if we can unfurl our back away from the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. So this is a very controlled and slow movement. And as we start to get some height, we're going to start to push our hips up towards the ceiling. So you want to keep your chin tucked into your chest. You want to try and keep those legs nice and still and parallel. And try not to let your knees fall in together. So you should really be feeling it in your legs. And you want to work towards the top of the spine so that your shoulders are now just resting on the mat. Your arms and the palms of the hands are flat on the floor, and the soles of the feet are flat on the floor. And we're going to hold it here for 1 more breath. And as we breathe here, we're going to see if we can push those hips up towards the ceiling a little bit more. And then we're going to come back down to the back. We're going to reverse, starting at the shoulders. We're going to see if we can roll the back down towards the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. So again, we want to try and keep the legs and the knees nice and still as we do this, keeping them parallel. And if you want to try and push your bottom down towards your heels, that can help with this rolling motion. And see if you can really bring the back down really nice and slowly. And roll it all the way down till the whole of the back is back down on the mat. And when you're back down on the mat, we're just going to pause. Maybe you're just going to see that your feet still got nice contact with the floor. Have a little bit of a wriggle of the lower back. Keep your shoulders nice and soft. Chin tucked into the chest. And we're going to go up again. We're going to inhale. We're going to press down through our legs, through our feet to lift that bottom. And once we've got some lift, we're rolling up the back, unfurling it vertebrae by vertebrae away from the floor and working our way up towards the shoulders, trying to keep the legs nice and parallel, the knees nice and still. And then pushing the hips up towards the ceiling as we roll back to rest on our shoulders, and we're going to hold it here. So this time we're going to try and work those hamstrings a little bit more tonight, Bruce. So we're going to see if we can bring our right foot off the mat, and we're going to bring it over and we're going to rest our right foot on our left leg. So as you do that, your hips might sink down towards the floor. See if you can lift them back up and take a breath. And then let's see if we can drop your back down towards the floor using this rolling motion, keeping that right foot where it is. And take your back all the way down to the floor, leaving that right foot where it is. And then let's see if we can inhale and lift again, leaving the right foot on the left leg. And see if we can roll up, pushing those hips up, working our way towards our shoulders. We're going to hold it here and take one more breath. Really see if we can get those hips a little bit higher. And then we're going to release that right foot and we're going to bring it back down to the mat so that it's parallel with the left foot. And then we're going to roll it down from the shoulders, working down towards the base of the spine until the whole of the back is back down on the mat. You got a bit of cramp. Okay. Have a little bit of a wriggle of that toe. Okay, let's see if we can go again then. So we're going to inhale and we're going to lift the bottom off the mat as we press down through our feet. We're rolling that back up. We're pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. We're making our way up towards our shoulders and then we're holding it here. And now we're going to do the same with the opposite leg. So we're taking the left leg off the mat and we're just resting it gently at the top of the right leg. And we're lifting those hips, trying to keep our really nice bridge. So it's a temptation for those hips to drop. So let's really work and push those hips up towards the ceiling. And then leaving the leg where it is. We're going to roll that back down vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down to the mat, just like we did before. And keep it nice and controlled and keep the chin tucked in towards the chest. Lovely. Now let's go up one final time, inhaling, lifting the bottom, rolling the back off the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. We're leaving that left foot where it is for the moment on top of the right leg, until we've got those hips up as high as we can. We're going to hold it here and take a breath. And then we're going to release that left foot. We're going to bring it down to the floor so it's parallel with the right foot. And we're going to roll that back all the way back down to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Seeing if we can still keep it nice and slow and nice and controlled. Lovely. And then we're going to draw the knees into the chest. We're going to hug them into the chest We're going to have a little bit of a roll from side to side. We've brought our arms and our hands forward to hug those knees into the chest. And we're having a little bit of a roll from side to side. So how's that cramp? What about if we hold the right knee in and we take the left leg up towards the ceiling, and maybe let's just rotate that left ankle round 3 times in one direction, and then 3 times in the opposite direction. And then let's just do a flex and point with that foot as well. Hopefully that will ease that cramp that you had. And then let's swap, let's bring the left knee into the chest and hold on to that with our arms. And let's take the right foot up towards the ceiling, and let's rotate that right ankle 3 times in one direction. Maybe wriggling the toes as you go. And then reverse and take it 3 times in the opposite direction. And then let's flex and point. Really waking up those muscles in the leg and hopefully getting rid of any cramp. And then draw that right knee in to join the left knee. We're just going to open up those hips. So we're taking our hands onto our knees and we're drawing our knees out away from the center of the body, out to the sides of the body, opening up the hips. And then we're pushing the knees away from the body, keeping our hands on the knees. And then we're drawing the knees together. And then we're drawing the knees back in towards our chest. So let's try that again, hands on knees, opening the knees at the chest, taking them out to the side as far as they'll go. And then once those hips are nice and open, we're going to push those knees away from the chest. And then we're going to draw them back together. And then we're going to bring the knees back up to the chest. Lovely. Now let's do that one more time, just opening up the knees, opening up the hips, nice and gentle. And then let's push those knees away from the body. And then let's bring them back together and draw those knees back into the chest. And this time we're going to hug them into the chest with our arms and our hands. And we're going to have another little roll from side to side, massaging that lower back. And then we're going to release our hands from our knees. And we're going to roll back on the spine. You can take your hands flat on the floor, palms flat on the floor beside you. We're going to roll back on the spine and we're going to take our knees and our legs and our feet all the way overhead. We're going to see if we can stretch our feet over our head as far as we can. And then we're going to use momentum to roll back on our spine. We're going to see if we can roll up onto our bottom and drop those legs down in front of us. So rolling back down on the spine, bringing the legs down to the mat. Nice and steady. And let those legs drop down on the mat in front of you. Lovely. And then we're going to come and sit up on our bottom. So bring yourself up into a sitting position, keeping those legs out in front. So give the legs a little bit of a shake. You want your legs about hip distance apart and want toes pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to take our arms out to the side and we're going to rest our fingertips on the floor, either side of the hips. We're dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. We're lifting the chest and we're lifting the crown of the head. We're going to hold it here and take one breath in this staff pose. So we've got nice active legs and we've got a nice straight upper back. Lovely. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to lift our hands from the mat. We're going to raise our arms up overhead. We're going to keep our hands parallel up over our head. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to hinge from the hips. Lead with the chest, and we're going to let the upper body fold down towards our legs. And as we do so, we're going to let our arms and our hands float down and meet our legs wherever they meet our legs. So this is a nice gentle forward fold. So we don't want to be stretching and straining to reach our feet. Just fold wherever's comfortable for you. So we're going to hold it here for 2 breaths, and we're going to see if we can really work with our breath into this posture. So as we inhale, we're going to see if we can lift a little, and as we exhale, we're going to see if we can fold forward a little. So we inhale and we lift a little, just a tiny micro movement, and as we exhale, we fold forward. Just hold it here for 1 breath. And then leaving the hands on the legs, we're going to draw the hands up the legs, and as we do so, we're going to bring our upper body back up into an upright sitting position. So when you're nice and upright again, we're going to release those hands, and we're going to take them back out to the side. We're going to rest on our fingertips. We're going to drop our shoulders down away from our ears. Going to lift our chest, our toes are still active and pointing up towards the ceiling, and we're going to take a breath. And then we're going to take the left foot, and we're going to bend the knee and put the left foot on the floor, and we're going to draw that left foot along the mat and bring that left foot all the way into the groin as far as we can. So use your arms and your hands to draw that knee into the chest. And then when it's nice and close, we're going to use our hands to take that left knee out and down to the left towards the floor. So open it out. Once you've done that, you might just need to adjust your sitting position to see that you're still on your sit bones and that you can keep your right leg nice and active with your right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. We're taking our arms out to the side again, either side of the hips, resting on the fingertips. We're dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're lifting the chest, and we're lifting the crown of the head. So we're just focusing on this stack pose again, but with the one leg out to the side, and we're going to take a breath. And then we're going to inhale, and we're going to lift both arms up and overhead once again. The hands are parallel as they come up over our head, and we reach up towards the ceiling, and then we exhale and we fold forward once more from the hips. So we lead with the chest, we let the upper body fold, and we let the arms and the hands sink down towards our leg. So again, they're going to meet your leg wherever they meet the leg. It doesn't have to reach your foot. And we're going to sink into this posture and work with our breath. So as we inhale, we've got that little micro movement upwards. And as we exhale, we fold forward just a little bit more. Inhaling again, just that little micro lift, and exhaling, we fold forward. We've still got the sit bones rooted into the ground as we hold it here for 1 breath. And we've still got those right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then leaving the hands on the leg, we're going to draw our hands up our leg, and we're going to lift our upper body back up into our upright sitting position as we draw the hands back up. And then we release the hands and we take them back out to the side, resting on the fingertips, either side of the hips. And we drop the shoulders down away from the ears. And then keeping those right toes nice and active. We're going to inhale, and we're going to bring the right hand across the body, and we're going to find the left knee with the right hand, and we're going to swing the left hand behind our back and let it find the floor. And we're twisting the whole of our upper body round to the left-hand side. Lovely. So we're going to hold it here in this twist. We're just going to maybe take our attention to those right toes, keep them nicely pointed up towards the ceiling so that right leg's nice and active. Going to hold it here for 1 more breath. And then we're going to try a stretch here, Bruce. I'm not sure we've done it before. So we're going to keep our left hand flat on the mat behind our back. We're going to release our right hand from that left knee. And we're going to let the left knee fall down to the floor. And as we do so, we're going to roll our body forward to follow the left knee. And we're going to come up onto the right foot. And we're going to lift the left hip and the right arm up off the floor. So we're rolling forward on your body. So keep your right leg extended. So from where you're sitting, Bruce, you're gonna take your body forward to where your left knee is, and you're gonna lift your left hip off the mat, resting on your left arm. That's it. So can you lift your hip off the mat and rest on your left arm and your right foot? So you've got some height between your hip. If you turn your right foot so that it's flat on the mat, keep your right leg extended. No, okay, let's come back down. Okay, so take your, so from where you are there, we'll just leave that lift and we're going to bring your left leg back into your chest. So bring your left knee back into your chest. Lovely, okay, and then release that left leg back down to join your right leg. That's it, give your legs a little bit of a shake. We'll just go on to the other side and we'll do the forward fold and twist on the other side. We'll maybe work on that lift next time. So we're going to bring the right foot onto the mat now, and we're going to draw the right foot along the floor until the right foot is close into the groin, and we're hugging the right knee into the chest. And now we've got the left leg nice and active and the left toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So then we're going to take the right knee and we're going to open up that right knee out to the side, and we're going to use our hands to gently lower it down towards the floor. That's it. And then we're just going to do that little readjustment of our sit bones so that we can sit up nice and tall with our hands nice and flat either side. Sorry, resting on the fingertips. Dropping the shoulders down away from the ears and lifting the chest and taking a breath here. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to lift both arms up and overhead. The hands are parallel. We're reaching up our arms and our fingers up towards the ceiling. And then we're exhaling and we're folding from the hips. And we're letting the upper body fold forward. We're letting the arms and the hands float down towards the leg to wherever they land. And then when you've landed, we're going to work with the breath here in this forward fold. So as we inhale, we're taking a little micro lift. And as we exhale, we're seeing if we can fold our body forward just a little bit more. So we inhale with that little micro lift. And we exhale and we fold forward a little tiny bit more. And then leaving the hands on the left leg, we're going to draw the hands up the leg. And we're going to bring our upper body back up into a sitting position, nice and upright. And then we release the hands and we take them back out to the side, resting on the fingertips either side. Still got those left toes nice and active, lifting the chest, lifting the crown of the head. We're taking a breath here. And then with the next inhale, we're bringing the left hand across the body and we're finding the right knee with the left hand. And the right hand goes behind our back and finds the floor. And we twist the whole of our upper body and turn towards the right. So we're breathing into this twist now on the opposite side. The shoulders are soft and drawing away down, away from the ears. The left toes are still active, pointing up towards the ceiling. Got one more breath here. And then we're going to release both hands. And we're going to swing the left hand in front of our body and bring it back to the side so that both hands are either side of the hips. And then we're going to release the right leg and we're going to take it forward. We're going to give both legs a little bit of a shake. Lovely. And then we're going to swing those legs out to the right hand side. And then we're going to take them behind us. And we're going to come and we're going to find our tabletop position. So we've got our knees under our hips. The tops of the feet are flat on the floor behind us. Our wrists are under our shoulders. and our head is nicely in line with our spine. We're going to do some circles here. So we're just going to take that bottom back towards our toes. And then we're going to take that bottom round to the side and over to the front, taking our weight over our hands. So just circle it all out to really stretch the spine as we go back. Let's go one more round in that direction. And then let's reverse and go the opposite way or opposite direction. Do one more round in that direction. And then we're going to come back to our nice neutral position. We're going to think about really pressing down through your arms and your hands. So come into stillness now, back to your flat back, sorry. You want to keep your head nice and level with your spine. So you really need to press down through your arms and your hands, lift your shoulders, pull that belly button in towards your spine. And then we're going to go into a Superman here. So we're going to start by taking our right hand off the mat and raising our right arm out in front of our body, stretching the fingers away from the shoulders, seeing if you can bring that arm so it's level with your ear. You want to try and keep your head nice and level with your spine. And then we're going to come up onto the toes of our left foot. And we're going to travel those toes along the mat away from our body towards the back of the mat. And we can rest our toes here. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to lift that left leg up away from the floor. We're going to try and keep it, see if we can bring it so it's parallel with our spine. We're dropping the toes down in the direction of the mat. And we're really pressing down through our left arm and our right leg. Trying to keep that back nice and straight for one more lovely breath here. And then we're going to release. We're going to bring that hand and that knee back down to the floor. We're just going to swing those hips from side to side and maybe give your wrists a little bit of a shake to release any tension. And then we're going to come back to our nice central position. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So now we're going to start with the left hand coming off the mat. Stretch the left arm away from the body, stretching the fingers away from the shoulders, seeing if you can bring the arm level with your ear. And then we tuck the toes under of the right leg, and the right leg travels out behind us, reaching towards the end of the mat. And then if you want to, we're going to lift that right leg off the mat. The toes are pointing down towards the floor. We're thinking about trying to work towards a nice straight line that goes all the way down the leg, down the spine, down the arm to the fingers. And we're lifting the shoulders as we complete our final breath here. Doesn't matter if you're wobbling a little. And then we're going to release and we're going to bring our hand down to the mat. And we're going to bring our knee back down to the mat. And we're going to just swing those hips from side to side. And we're going to give those wrists a little bit of a shake. We are going to come up into down dog briefly now. So we're going to tuck our toes under behind us. We're dropping our bottom back towards our heels. And we're maybe walking those hands forward just a touch. Dropping the head between the arms. And then we're going to press down through our arms and our hands. We're going to press our heels down towards the mat. We're going to lift our knees and lift our bottom. And we're going to come all the way up into our down dog. We're going to walk it out and swing the hips and keep it nice and fluid. You might want to try just walking your feet in so that they're a little bit closer to your hands and getting more of that lovely V shape in your body. That looks good. And then we're going to hold it here and we're going to draw our heels down towards the floor as far as you can and take a breath. And then we're going to walk our feet in towards our hands, keeping our knees nice and bent. And we're going to keep on walking those feet in until maybe our thumbs are touching the sides of our feet so that our feet are between our hands. And our hands are nice and flat, so our knees are really bent. And we're letting our upper body fold forward And we're letting the crown of the head drop down towards the floor. And we're going to take a breath. And then we're going to inhale up into our half forward fold. So our hands come up and meet our shins or our ankles. And we stretch our chest and our head away from our body. And we're trying to find that nice flat back that's parallel with the floor. And then we're going to exhale forward once more. So we bend the knees, we release the hands, we take them flat either side of the feet. We drop the upper body forward and we drop the crown of the head down towards the floor. And then we're going to come up to standing from here. So we're going to release our hands from the mat. We're going to keep our knees nice and bent. We're going to take our arms out to the side as we unfurl our back vertebrae by vertebrae. We're coming up really slowly. The head is heavy and the head comes up last. We're bringing our arms up and overhead, and we're bringing the palms together in prayer. And then we're drawing the palms and the thumbs down to the chest, and we're letting the thumbs rest on the chest, and we're just going to take a breath here. And then we're going to release the hands, and we're going to give our legs and our hands a little bit of a shake. Lovely. So staying where you are at the top of the mat, just going to think about standing up nice and tall, really making contact with your feet in the floor, tucking that tailbone in, lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders, drawing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to take those arms out to the side and up and overhead. We're going to bring the hands together in prayer over the head. And we're going to exhale and we're going to fold from the hips. We're going to lower the upper body back down towards the floor. We're bending the knees. We're dropping the upper body, the head, the arms and the hands. And we're releasing the hands so that they come down to the floor, either side of the feet. And we find our full forward fold once more. And then we're going to inhale back up into our half forward fold, bringing our hands to our shins or our ankles, stretching the chest and the head away from the body, taking a breath here. And then exhaling back down into our full forward fold, bending the knees, taking the hands either side of the feet, dropping the crown of the head. And then we're going to step back with the right leg, and we're going to step back with the left leg. We're going to find our down dog briefly once more. We're going to walk it out and swing the hips. And then we're going to come to stillness. And we're going to draw those heels down towards the floor. We're going to take the right leg out behind us. Stretch the right leg away from your body. And then we're going to bend at the knee. And we're going to bring the whole of the right leg under the body. And we're going to bring the foot forward. And it's going to hit the floor. And we're going to see if we can shuffle it forward between our hands. We're going to drop our back knee to the floor and release those back toes. So we should have found ourselves now in a kind of a runner's lunge. You've got your right foot forward between your hands. And you've got your left lower leg on the mat with the top of the foot on the mat. We're going to come up onto our fingertips. We're going to lift our chest away from that thigh. And we're going to drop the shoulders down away from the ears. We're just going to take a breath here and soften into this lunge. And then we're going to release our hands from the mat. We're going to take our arms out in front of our body. Our hands are parallel. We're going to see if we can balance here. And imagine we've got a beach ball between our hands. And see if we can raise our extended arms and our hands parallel in front of the body and then up over our head. How are we doing? Well done. Excellent. So we're just going to take one breath here, trying to stretch our arms and our fingers up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to hinge from the hips and we're going to let our upper body fold forward, down towards our leg. And we're going to let our arms and our hands float down towards the floor. And the hands are going to find the floor either side of that front foot once more. Well done. And then we're going to come up onto our toes of our back leg. And we're going to raise that back knee. And we're going to bring that front foot back to meet our back foot. Find our down dog just briefly and walk it out. And then come to stillness and draw the heels down towards the floor. And we're going to try the same on the opposite side. So we're going to take the left leg out behind us now and stretch it away from the body. And then raising it off the floor. And then we're going to bend the left knee. And we're going to see if we can bring the whole of the left leg under the body and bring the foot down to the floor by our hands and shuffle it forward between our hands, dropping the back knee to help with your balance and releasing those back toes as you do so. So we've now found ourselves in a runner's lunge on the opposite side. So just take a moment to settle here, coming up onto the fingertips of your hands, raising your chest away from the knee, lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders, drawing your head forward away from your body, letting your hips sink down into this lunge as we take a breath. And then we're going to try the raised arms on this side as well. So now that you're nice and steady, we're going to see if we can take both hands off the mat. So keep breathing down into both legs. Take your arms in front, your hands are parallel, and really press down with your front foot as you try and lift your arms and your hands and raise your body into an upright position. Well done. Keep on breathing, that will stop the shakes, and raise those arms up and overhead. And see if you can drop the shoulders down away from the ears, drop the hips down towards the floor. Complete that lovely breath up here, well done. And then we're going to hinge from the hips, we're going to let our body fold forward, we let the arms and the hands float down towards the floor so that the hands find the mat either side of your front foot once more. Excellent. We're going to come up onto the back toes and we're going to release the back knee and lift that off the mat. And we're going to take the front foot back to meet the back foot to find our down dog. But we're not going to stay here this time. We're going to drop those knees down to the mat. Well done. We're going to find our toes and we're going to bring our toes together behind us. And then we're going to open up our knees as wide as the mat or as wide as comfortable for you. And we're going to drop our bottom back towards our heels. We're going to walk our hands forward, palms are flat on the floor. And we're going to let our heart and our head sink down towards the floor as we find our extended child's pose and take a well-deserved rest. So in this posture, you want to try and keep everything else behind you nice and soft. This is such a great posture for your hips, for your glutes, for your spine, for your shoulders. So we've got a lovely stretch all the way down the spine. Our arms are active and our fingers are active. We're going to take 2 more lovely breaths here. And then we're going to lift our head from the mat and we're going to walk our hands on the floor over towards the left-hand side. So we're going to take them over to the left until you find a nice side stretch. And then you're going to drop your heart and your head once more down towards the floor. And we're going to take 2 lovely breaths in this side stretch. Let's see if you can keep both buttocks still softening down towards your heels. Really feel that stretch in the side. Just complete our second breath here. And then we're going to lift our head from the floor once more. And we're going to walk those hands along the floor. We're going to take them back to center. And then we're going to walk them all the way over to the right-hand side. And again, when you've found a nice side stretch that works for you, we're going to let our heart and our head sink down towards the floor. And we're going to breathe into this side stretch, softening those buttocks down towards the heels, keeping the arms and the hands nice and active. And then we're going to lift our head from the floor once more. And we're going to walk our hands along the floor back to center. And then this time when we get to center, we're going to pause. And we're going to walk our hands back towards our body. We're going to bring ourselves up into a sitting position. We're going to release those toes from behind us. And we're going to swing our legs out to the side. And we're going to take them round to the front so that we're sitting on our bottom again, with our legs out in front. Lovely. So bringing the feet down onto the mat and raising the knees up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring our upper body down to the mat, the position that we were in at the beginning of our practice. So bring your back and your head down to the floor. And then we're going to walk our feet out so that they're as wide as the mat. So walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. And then we're going to let our knees fall together and find each other in the center of the mat. We're going to take our arms out to the side at shoulder height, stretching the fingers away from the shoulders. And then we're going to bend our elbows and find our cactus arms, taking our fingers up towards our head. And we're going to have a little bit of a wriggle of that lower back, see if we can soften that down into the mat. We're going to tuck our chin into our chest. So we've got a nice little stretch in the back of the neck. We should have a nice little stretch across the chest from the eagle arms. We're going to take a couple of breaths here in this constructive rest. We're going to let gravity do the work on the legs. And we're just going to focus on our breath for another 2 breaths. Letting everything soften down into the mat. And then we're going to bring our arms and our hands forward. We're going to release the knees. We're going to draw the knees into the chest for one final time. We're going to hug them in with our hands. And we're going to have a little bit of a roll from side to side. So as we inhale, we're going to draw those knees into the chest. And as we exhale, we're going to release them. Let's have one final breath here. And then releasing the hands from the knees. We're going to let the knees fall down to the floor on one side and our body rolls over to follow. And then we're going to use our arms and our hands to help bring us back up into a sitting position. Can't believe how quickly 45 minutes goes. I just invite you to join me, bringing your hands together in prayer, thumbs to the chest. Lifting the chest, lifting the crown of the head, dropping the shoulders. And take one final inhale and exhale to complete our practice. Namaste.